across the rugged shores of Oak Island, a place where the earth itself seems to whisper secrets, taunting those who dare to listen. For centuries, this small, unassuming island off the coast of Nova Scotia has held tight to its mysteries, luring dreamers, adventurers, and treasure hunters with tales of unimaginable wealth buried deep beneath its surface. Some say it's gold, glittering in hidden vaults. Others whisper of ancient artifacts, sacred relics, or even cursed treasures guarded by forces beyond comprehension. But for Rick and Marty Lagina, two brothers from Michigan who've poured their lives into this quest, Oak Island is more than a hunt. It's a calling, a dream that's gripped their hearts since they were boys flipping through magazines, captivated by stories of pirates and lost fortunes. Now, after decades of digging, countless setbacks, and moments of fleeting hope, they stand on the edge of something extraordinary. In the fading light of the 2025 digging season, with winter's icy breath creeping closer, the brothers and their team have uncovered something that could rewrite history. A cold draft rises from the depths, carrying the scent of ancient wood and forgotten promises. The island is speaking, and this time, it's not letting go. The story begins with a feeling, a gut instinct that Rick Lagina couldn't shake. He's always been the dreamer, the one who sees patterns in the chaos of Oak Island's tangled history. This time, his attention was drawn to a spot near the old shipyard garden, a place steeped in whispers of long-ago secrets. It wasn't just another patch of dirt. This was a place where the island's past seemed to hum just beneath the surface, where the ghosts of shipbuilders and smugglers might have stashed something precious centuries ago. Rick's hunch wasn't about finding a stray coin or a rusted tool. He was chasing something bigger, something that could finally silence the skeptics. A hidden tunnel, perhaps, or a sealed chamber that's been waiting in the dark for generations. The team gathered around, their breath visible in the crisp autumn air, as the drill roared to life. Every turn of the bit felt like a heartbeat, pulsing with possibility. They weren't just digging into the earth, they were peeling back layers of time, reaching for a truth that had eluded so many before them. The stakes were higher than ever. This was their last shot before winter forced them to pack up, leaving the island's secrets buried for another year. No one wanted to walk away, not when they were this close. Across the island, two scientists, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael, were chasing their own thread of the mystery. They'd been testing the soil and water near the dig site, sifting through the island's elemental clues with a precision that bordered on obsession. What they found sent a jolt through the team, tiny flecks of metal glinting in the mud that had no business being there. These weren't ordinary rocks or natural deposits. They were fragments of something else, gold, silver, or perhaps something even rarer. The discovery was like a spark in dry grass, igniting a fire of excitement that spread through the crew. Ian and Fred didn't just see metal, they saw a story. Could these traces be the fingerprints of a long-lost treasure, hidden by someone who knew the island's labyrinthine depths? The scientists doubled down, analyzing every sample with meticulous care, their hands trembling slightly as they uncovered more hints of something extraordinary. The air around the dig site grew thick with anticipation, a shared sense that this moment could be the one they'd all been waiting for. The drill's steady hum became a siren song, pulling everyone closer, binding them to the hope that today might be the day. As the drill chewed deeper into the earth, the team's imagination ran wild. What if they found a chest overflowing with gold coins, their surfaces worn by time, but still gleaming with promise? What if they uncovered a passage, its walls lined with ancient carvings, leading to a chamber untouched since the days of knights or pirates? For each person on the team, the dream was different. For some, it was about rewriting history, proving that the legends of Oak Island weren't just tall tales. For others, it was about freedom, the kind that comes with a discovery so valuable it could change their lives forever. And for a few, it was simply about being right, about proving that their years of faith in this muddy, stubborn island hadn't been wasted. But beneath those personal dreams was a shared hunger, a need to hold something solid in their hands, something they could show the world and say, "This is it. This is what we've been chasing." The drill kept turning, each layer of soil a step closer to the unknown. Every time it hit resistance, a chunk of wood, a slab of stone, the crew's collective pulse quickened. Was this the moment? Was this the breakthrough that would make all of the years of doubt and disappointment worth it? Then, it happened. A core sample came up, and the scientists crowded around, their eyes locked on a dark, grimy piece of metal buried in the dirt. It wasn't just another rock. It was shaped, worked, deliberate. A relic of human hands buried deeper than anyone had a right to expect. The crew erupted in whispers, theories bouncing between them like sparks. Could this be part of a larger structure? A chest sealed shut centuries ago? A vault hidden from the world? The discovery was small, but its weight was immense. It was proof that something was down there, something that didn't belong in the natural order of the island's soil. The team adjusted their equipment, their movements sharp with purpose, and pushed the drill deeper. Every new sample was a gamble, a chance to uncover the next piece of the puzzle. Flecks of gold appeared in the soil, faint but undeniable, like stars breaking through a cloudy night. The excitement was electric, binding the team together in a shared dream that felt closer than ever. But the island wasn't done with them yet. As the drill groaned and struggled, it hit something solid, something that refused to give way. This wasn't just dirt or clay. This was a structure, a barrier, a secret the island had guarded for centuries. The team stood frozen, their eyes wide, their hearts pounding. Whatever was down there, it was real. And it was waiting. The drill's groan echoed across the dig site, a primal sound that seemed to rise from the very heart of Oak Island. The team stood in a tight circle, their faces lit by the faint glow of portable lights, as dusk settled over the island. That solid barrier they'd hit, unyielding, deliberate, was no accident. It was a message, carved into the earth by hands long gone, daring them to go further. Rick Lagina's eyes gleamed with a mix of awe and determination, his voice barely above a whisper as he said, "This is it. This is what we've been chasing." But Oak Island has never been kind to dreamers. For every step forward, it throws up a wall. Sometimes literal, sometimes maddeningly intangible. As the team prepared to push deeper, the weight of the moment pressed against them. They weren't just digging for treasure anymore. They were unraveling a story that had been buried for centuries, a story that might change how they saw the world. Yet the island, with its muddy depths and cryptic clues, seemed to delight in keeping its secrets just out of reach. The discovery of that shaped metal fragment had set the crew ablaze with possibility, but it was the solid structure that stopped them in their tracks. What was it? A wooden beam, part of an ancient framework. A stone vault, sealed against time. The scientists, Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael, were already at work, their gloved hands sifting through the latest core samples, with a reverence usually reserved for sacred relics. Every fleck of gold, every trace of silver, was a breadcrumb leading them deeper into the island's labyrinth. Ian's voice trembled as he pointed out the anomalies in the soil, metals that didn't belong, concentrations that hinted at something extraordinary. "This isn't natural," he said, his words hanging in the air like a spell. "Someone put this here, and they didn't want it found." The team's excitement was tempered by a growing sense of unease. Whoever had hidden this treasure had gone to impossible lengths to protect it, building traps and tunnels, weaving a puzzle that had outlasted empires. What kind of secret demanded such devotion? And what would it cost to uncover it? As the drill team recalibrated their equipment, the island seemed to push back. Water seeped into the shaft, cold and relentless, as if the ocean itself were guarding the secret below. This wasn't new. Oak Island's infamous flood tunnels have thwarted treasure hunters for generations, channels designed to drown anyone who got too close. The team cursed under their breath, their boots sinking into the muck. But they didn't falter. They'd faced this before, season after season, each year ending with the same bitter mix of hope and frustration. Yet this time felt different. The metal fragments, the solid barrier, the whispers of gold, they were pieces of a puzzle that was finally starting to take shape. Marty Lagina, the more pragmatic of the brothers, paced the site, his mind racing with calculations. "We're close," he said, his voice steady but laced with urgency. "But we need to be smart. One wrong move and we lose everything." The team worked through the night, pumping out water, reinforcing the shaft, their exhaustion giving way to a shared resolve. They weren't just fighting the island now. They were fighting time itself, with winter's grip tightening by the day. The deeper they went, the more the island's history seemed to bleed into the present. The shipyard garden, where they were digging, wasn't just a random spot. Old maps and faded journals hinted at its significance. A place where ships once docked, where shadowy figures might have unloaded crates under cover of night. Rick couldn't stop thinking about the stories he'd read as a kid. Tales of pirates like Captain Kidd or secret societies like the Knights Templar, who some believed had hidden their treasures here. Those stories had once seemed like fairy tales, but now, with the drill hitting something man-made, they felt unnervingly real. The team began to speculate, their voices low, as if afraid the island might overhear. What if this was a tunnel leading to the fabled money pit, the heart of Oak Island's legend? Or what if it was something even stranger, a vault holding not just gold, but knowledge, artifacts that could upend history? The possibilities were intoxicating, but they came with a shadow of doubt. Oak Island had a way of dangling hope, only to snatch it away with another flood, another dead end. As the days blurred together, the team's focus narrowed to the shaft they'd named E514. It was their last hope for the season, a gamble that everything, the metal traces, the ancient wood, the solid barrier, was leading to something real. The scientists' tests grew more precise, their equipment humming with data that confirmed what their instincts had already told them. They were in the right place. Fred Michael, usually reserved, couldn't hide his excitement as he pointed to a screen, showing elevated levels of precious metals. "This isn't just a hint," he said. "This is a neon sign." The crew laughed, the tension breaking for a moment, but their eyes stayed locked on the drill. Every core sample was a heartbeat, every layer of earth a page in a story they were desperate to read. When the drill hit another layer of resistance, the team froze. This wasn't just more wood or stone. It was something larger, more deliberate. The core sample revealed fragments of what looked like a wooden structure, its edges worn but unmistakable. Someone, centuries ago, had built this. The realization hit them like a wave. They were standing on the edge of a discovery that could change everything. But Oak Island doesn't give up its secrets easily. As the team prepared to excavate further, the shaft began to flood again, water rushing in with a force that seemed almost intentional. The pumps roared, struggling to keep up, and the crew worked feverishly to stabilize the site. Their faces were etched with exhaustion, but no one suggested stopping. Not now. Not when they were this close. Rick stood at the edge of the shaft, staring into the dark, muddy water, as if he could will the island to yield. "We've been here before," he said, his voice heavy with memory. "But this time I can feel it. It's different." The team rallied around him, their camaraderie a shield against the island's relentless challenges. They shared stories of past seasons, of near misses and fleeting triumphs, each tale a reminder of why they kept coming back. For Rick and Marty, it was a promise they'd made to each other as kids, a vow to chase this dream no matter the cost. For the others, it was a mix of curiosity, ambition, and a stubborn refusal to let the island win. Together, they were more than a team. They were a family, bound by a shared obsession with the unknown. As the season's final days ticked down, the team made one last push. The drill broke through another layer, and the core sample that came up was unlike anything they'd seen before. It wasn't just metal or wood. It was a piece of something crafted, something that bore the marks of human ingenuity. The scientists huddled over it, their voices a mix of disbelief and wonder. "This could be part of a chest," Ian said, his fingers tracing the edges of the fragment. "Or a door." The word hung in the air, heavy with possibility. A door to what? A hidden chamber? A vault that had been sealed since the days of sailing ships and secret oaths? The team's excitement reached a fever pitch, but the flooding forced them to pause. The island was fighting back, as it always did, its waters rising like a warning. They stood at the edge of the shaft, their eyes fixed on the dark below, knowing they'd have to wait. Winter was coming, and Oak Island would hold its secrets a little longer, but the fire in their hearts burned brighter than ever. Whatever was down there, it was real, and they would find it, no matter what it took. Winter's shadow loomed over Oak Island, its cold fingers curling around the dig site as the team stood at the edge of the flooded shaft. The water churned below, dark and defiant, as if the island itself were daring them to try again. Rick Lagina's face was etched with resolve, his eyes fixed on the murky depths where their latest discovery, a crafted fragment, perhaps part of a chest or a door, lay tantalizingly out of reach. The season was over, the drills silenced, the equipment packed away, but the fire in their hearts burned hotter than ever. They'd come so close, closer than any team in Oak Island's long, frustrating history. The metal flecks, the wooden structure, the solid barrier, they weren't just clues. They were a promise, a whisper from the past that something extraordinary was waiting. As the team prepared to leave, their boots heavy with mud and their minds heavy with questions, they knew this wasn't the end. It was only the beginning of a story that would haunt them through the long, restless months until spring. Oak Island had given them a taste of its secrets, and now there was no turning back. The ride back to the mainland was quiet, the hum of the boat's engine blending with the team's unspoken thoughts. Marty Lagina sat at the stern, his gaze lost in the waves, replaying every moment of the season. The pragmatic brother, the one who'd always tempered Rick's dreams with hard logic, felt something shift inside him. This wasn't just another year of sand and disappointment. The data didn't lie. Those metal traces, those crafted fragments, were real. They pointed to something deliberate, something hidden with a purpose that stretched across centuries. Dr. Ian Spooner and Dr. Fred Michael pored over their notes, their voices low but urgent, already planning new tests, new strategies for the next season. The fragment they'd pulled from the shaft wasn't just a piece of wood or metal. It was a relic of human ambition, a testament to someone who'd gone to unimaginable lengths to bury their treasure. Who were they? Pirates fleeing justice? Templars guarding sacred relics? Or something stranger, something the history books had never dared to record? The questions hung in the air, binding the team together, even as the island faded into the horizon. Back on shore, the team gathered one last time before scattering to their winter lives. They spread out maps, old and new, their fingers tracing the lines of Oak Island's labyrinthine secrets. The Money Pit, the Shipyard Garden, Aladdin's Cave. Each name carried a weight of legend, a thread in a tapestry they were only beginning to unravel. Rick stood at the head of the table, his voice steady but thick with emotion. "We've been at this for years," he said, "and every year the island tests us. It breaks us down, makes us doubt, but this time we've got something real. We're not chasing shadows anymore." The room buzzed with agreement, a shared conviction that this season had changed everything. They talked late into the night, their voices rising with excitement as they pieced together the clues. The flood tunnels, designed to drown intruders, suggested a level of engineering that baffled modern experts. The metal traces, found in places they shouldn't be, hinted at wealth beyond imagination. And that fragment, with its deliberate craftsmanship, was proof that someone had built something meant to last. The team's dreams grew bolder, their theories wilder. Could they be on the verge of finding a vault that held not just gold, but answers to questions humanity had forgotten to ask? Yet, for all their hope, the team couldn't ignore the island's relentless toll. Oak Island wasn't just a place, it was a force, a riddle that had consumed lives, fortunes, and sanity for over 2 centuries. Every season brought new stories of near misses, wooden beams with ancient carvings, parchment fragments, a pickaxe that might have been Viking. Each find had sparked a blaze of excitement, only to fizzle into more questions. The team knew the pattern all too well. The island dangled hope, then snatched it away with floods, collapses, or endless